This is my second video within the series of sharing about my mixed media starter kit. Um, and this second video is same color, different mediums, why? And the first one I talked about, oh my God, what color did I talk about? Oh, I talked about luminous opera neon pink. Today I want to talk about, this morning I want to talk about like Potter's pink, beige, that kind of color family. I am just looking for, here it is, piece of tape. And I was thinking about, I was looking at my color families and, wondering like what I was going to pop on and share with y'all this morning, or actually 2 days ago, what I wanted to share with y'all. And I was like, okay, let me talk about why I have these different, the same color, but just in different mediums. And in the first video, I talked about me being on, like when I initially started out, and I'm still in this journey of like what colors do I like and why. So that was really important to then help me with color palettes. And one kind of, and I'll use color pencils as an example, um related to colors. I heard Katie Moody say that she recommends that folks, when they are starting out, to not buy colors in like different ranges. So like don't just buy a pink, a yellow, and a blue, for instance, or a green, but to get colors within, like pick one color, pick green, and then get like a light tone, a mid tone, and a dark tone in that color family. As an example, I can show y'all really quickly with this Kuretake set. So like this would be, oh, it's upside down. So like this would be an example of a light tone. This would be an example of a mid tone. And then like either one on the other sides would be like an example of a dark tone. So her recommendation was to stay within the same color family, but just get a light, a mid tone, and then a dark tone to kind of play with to see what colors you like. And I think that that is relevant and definitely a helpful tip, but I didn't follow anything like that. Like I definitely just got like colors that I just enjoy kind of across the spectrum, which kind of leads me into a very brief conversation about how I use the color wheel. So I am not someone that sticks to any kind of rules in art. I will say, and I don't have an example of this right now. Maybe I'll, and again, I'm just going to talk about this really briefly because maybe I'll do a separate video about this. Um, I think about the color wheel more from like analogous colors as opposed to complementary. So meaning that I like colors that are right next to each other along the same like color families, um, as opposed to like the complementary. And so that's how I think about the way that I pick my colors. So in thinking about color palettes, the making color palettes, I was doing some sketches last night and had kind of frozen for a moment because I had forgotten what colors I wanted to use, and it just made me reflect on how important the step is of taking that kind of guesswork out of the process. Like when I sit down, I want to pick, what I want to sketch and then move right into what materials I'm going to use. I don't want to spend time thinking about what colors. Um, like for me in my process, that feels like a barrier and a place that yeah, it just doesn't have like openness around it. It feels very rigid. So me picking color palettes is helpful to just remove that completely out of, completely out of my process. Um, so that then leads me to, and I'm looking over here at my notes. Um, why why did I start thinking about the same color in different mediums? And one of the things again that's really helpful about this is because if you think about what color you like and then seeing it in different mediums, it helps you to be able to view like what kind of variations across the different brands and then names of that particular product. So like for instance, if you like Potter's Pink as an example, right? Potter's Pink looks very different across different mediums, but with many brands, you'll be able to find like a Potter's Pink kind of color. So again, this is just an example to share with y'all about how I'm thinking about this. So you start off with one medium. So for me, I initially started off with like gouache. Um, and this is Arteza gouache here. I painted these last night. And this is what the Arteza gouache looks like. Okay. And so this is the ballerina pink and then the peach in this particular brand. And so I really liked ballerina pink. And when you think about like variation between like different brands, I knew that peach was just a little too pink, a little too salmony. And I would always reach for ballerina pink. So I started to look for colors that were more along the ballerina pink line, which led me on this like Potter's pink kind of journey. Okay, so that's what this looks like. And then let's see, this one is just pink. Um, I started to just pick up different variations of like a muted pink, right? Like I knew that I liked more of a nude or like matte. Well, no, no, no. Let me say like a nude pink as opposed to a muted pink, as opposed to like something that had like this very pink, salmony undertone to it. So this is a Karen Dash violet pink, right? Very nice pink. And then this is a Herculeanum red. So this one is more Herculeanum red is more, within the same family as this ballerina pink. Um, let's see. The other kind of colors that I found, this is a Turkish Delight. This is a Chroma Flow and Derwent, right? Yeah, this is a Derwent Chroma Flow Turkish Delight, right? So this one is still in the same color family, but just a little bit warmer, right? These are a little cooler. And then this one is warmer. And this is again the Herculaneum. The Herculaneum red is here. And then this one is the Turkish Delight. Okay, and then we got Holbein, got an ash rose. Okay, so this one, again, still within this same like color family, but this one I would say is a little bit more maybe brown or like purpley. And this is ash rose in Holbein. And then the last color pencil that I can show y'all is another Holbein and Cherry Blossom. Yeah, and then this one is really light. Right? So I went from gouache with liking the ballerina pink more over the peach. And then that led me into, I was more interested in wanting to get some color pencils. So that led me into looking for a ballerina pink, roughly a potter's pink in color pencils. And so, like I said, this journey to find these different color variations in different mediums. I have the Kieran Dash. This is the violet pink. This is the Kieran Dash Herculaneum red, right, which is more along again the same family. This is the Turkish Delight by Derwent Chroma Flow. This is the Holbein Ash Rose. And then this one is the Holbein Cherry Blossom, the lighter one. Okay, so then then I started to think about like branching off into these different mediums is like a discovery spiral, right? So like I just kind of explained like where I started with the gouache, noticing the difference between the peach and the ballerina pink, like what drew me more to the ballerina pink, and then looking at color pencils within that range and then what the differences were related to why I liked or didn't like these particular colors and how they were close to or not close to this ballerina pink, right? Like this is the color that I'm trying to get my materials closest to and then get some variation. And then one of the other things that I mentioned at the top of this video related to the recommendation to get a light tone, a mid tone, and then a dark tone. Like even with these three color pencils here, right? Like the light tone would be this cherry blossom, the mid tone would be this Herculaneum red, and then the dark tone could be the Turkish Delight, or these two could potentially be midtones, and then one of these could be the dark tone, right? So, and again, just a quick example of that. Okay, so we talked about the discovery spiral, right? And like how it started here, it went to these color pencils, and then now I'm going to share with y'all about the markers that these initial steps have led me to. Um let's see. Okay, so then I was like, okay, I started to get into markers. So I picked up this beige red. I saw, um, I'm not sure if it was Katie Moody or just somebody that I was watching here on YouTube, and I need to get another one of these. This is my second one of this beige red in the Faber-Castell Pit Artist pen brush. And these are India ink markers. They are pigment based, they're not dye based. And I learned so much about the difference between pigment based pens and markers versus dye based pigment pens and markers. Pigment meaning that it just has more of the particles, the color particles, intact color particles of that particular color. And then dye is kind of a watered down derivative, small, more bigger particles of the color. So it's not as pigmented. But so this is the beige red in this. And then I also picked up beige red in the Albert Durr watercolor marker. I just love this color so freaking much. It's so pretty to me. Um, Blend that out a little bit. Right? Okay. So again, with the discovery spiral, each new medium introduces like a slight variation of this original color, which again is good because it can create, you can start to create your own light, mid, and dark tone color palette, just even from the colors that you like, right? Like I don't have to introduce any additional colors if I don't want to. If I'm just trying to do like a light, mid, and dark tone, I can find that within this like Potter's Pink range. And so you might want to do that. Um the last thing that I will say is um this variation, looking at the variation, is helpful with you being able to um figure out like what you like and why you like something. So as an example, this Potter's Pink, like I said, I like the muteness, the nudeness of these colors. And then with the ones that are kind of a little bit outside of, like these three here, that are a little bit outside of this particular color range, one of the differences in the variation is just it's I like the flat uh nude pink look to these colors. Like these just have, like this one is just a little too pink, a little too light. And then these are a little too berry, too brown, too purple, right? But I wouldn't know that information if I hadn't like started again down this kind of this discovery spiral, right? Um and I know that with my other colors, that maybe that'll be true, across other color ranges as well. This is another color that I like that is kind of parallel to this color family. This is a rose gold marker. It's an oil-based opaque metallic paint marker by Deco Color Premium. And I really, really like this as a pop of color um, on my images. But again, it's still within the color range, right, of this Potter's Pink. It's just a little metallic-y pink. And again, could be used as a dark tone. Um, so let me know what you think about, these thoughts around how you start, the different variations, what spirals you've, come to in your own practice. I think that we all have these examples where we start off in a particular place and then it kind of spirals, blossoms into these other kind of aspects or interests, right? And this is an example of how I've been exploring that with color and different mediums. So let me know in the comments what you have been experimenting with lately related to color. What's your favorite color family right now? Like, is it greens? Is it blues? Is it reds? Yeah. And I'll see y'all on the next video.